Hey guys, what's up? Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom to, my Jewish fam, what I'm saying as well. Um, uh, so I know this is pretty late, but something this dawned on me, right? And I'm kind of an impulsive guy, so get ready for most of my videos are going to be on the fly, impulsive. I know, not really on the level where I'm just going to write stuff down and come up with some freaking heavily edited video that looks all nice and fancy to get a point across. I'm just going to give you the raw truth, right? So, um, this is tell my brothers out there, especially black men, as well as just men of other races. I'm just gonna keep it a buck, whether it be in the non-believers, it doesn't matter, right? No one cares about how you feel. I'm gonna say it again. Like, this is gonna shock you. No one cares at all how you feel. Your parents may let you down. Your girlfriend or wife may let you down. Your kids are probably going to disappoint you in some way, form, or fashion. Your friends, a lot of them, let's be honest, aren't even your real friends. Let's keep it a buck, bro. Nobody really cares about how you truly feel about anything. The only time they actually care about how you feel is when it reflects on them. So that's why I think that we really suffer from like a lot of men these days are just a disillusion with life in general and society and ourselves. And the way that I think that is going to be, the way I dealt with it was spiritually, right? I saw the connection with my creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as as a hardcore, somebody used to be a hardcore atheist and things like that. I never thought I would reach a point in my life where I think that I needed that to keep myself grounded. And, regardless of how ludicrous or crazy some ideas may seem to people, if it that you something that you believe in makes you a better person and keeps you here on this earth and keeps you here from hurting other people and keeps you disciplined, so be it. If I'm not recommending anybody to believe this, but if you believe in the fly spaghetti monster keeps you from hurting yourself and others, then by all means believe in the flying spaghetti monster. Period. And you got to find your way to your happiness that is actually true, fulfilling happiness, not this happiness of, oh, I just got laid last night, or hey, I just got a raise at my job, or hey, this, because all that's temporary. You have to have something that you feel that is connecting you with something that is going to be everlasting and that's going to last even longer than the moment of clarity that you have after you achieve something. So I just ask, like, my fellow men out there, be your own best friend, be your own ally, be your own protector. And as much, and I hate to say this, man, this is no shout to anybody. This is not malicious whatsoever. People that are in relationships or that have a lot of friends and stuff. But from what I see, and a big problem in our society is those people fall the hardest. They fall hard when they lose those connections. Why? Because a lot of these people don't even like themselves. So be your own best friend, bro. At the end of the day, if everybody in the world died overnight, would you be able to cope with that? Of course, that's extreme, right? That nobody really wants to think about it. But if everybody that you connected with died overnight, would you be able to survive? Would you be able to have something to live for? This materialism, these things, like, they are only going to make you happy for so long. These little successes that you have, they're only going to make you happy for so long. Because, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, most of us are going to have insignificant lives. We're not going to be rock stars. We're not going to be these crazy entrepreneurs on the face of all these magazines. We're not going to be people that read about in the history books, right? That's like 1% of human beings that have ever lived on this planet end up being that. And it's unfortunate, right? Everybody would want to be recognized and have that validation, right? But hey, man, it is what it is. It's just the facts, and that's never going to change. Even in the age of social media and things like this, there's only a small elite group of people that will ever be able to be recognized, after they're long dead and gone, for ever contributing anything to society or life or human race, civilization, whatever you like to call it, right? So you have to be your own best friend, bro. And that's why I really discovered for myself, like I burned a lot of bridges, and maybe burning those bridges saved my life, because I noticed when I had those quote unquote bridges, those were bridges to my self destruction. And yes, it's good to have people in your life and things. I'm not going to recommend everybody be antisocial or introvert. I am an introvert and I am antisocial at my heart, I guess, at the end of the day, even though I don't like to admit it. I do like talking to people, especially when I play music. I loved talking to people. I love talking to people about music, small talk, partying, and all that kinds of stuff. But it did make me happy at the end of the day. A lot of the time I went back home and I had to say it. I freaking cried, man. You know what I mean? Because these people didn't give a damn about who I really was at the end of the day. So, yeah, man, you have to learn how to be alone, and you have to learn that you will always be alone to a certain degree, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, we are social creatures at the end of the day, but you know, you're in your own body, you're your own mind, you're encapsulated in that flesh. You are alone. And if you the sooner you realize that, in my personal opinion, take it, man. Take it for what it is, man. I'm a 32-year-old guy that didn't get his stuff together until maybe about a couple years ago, right? Some of you young cats, man, are coming to hitting this, this Dunya with ground running. 18, you're moving out and doing all this kinds of stuff. Or some maybe you guys are still depending on your parents and stuff like that. I just got to say this, man. Don't expect to get everything right the first time. You're going to make a lot of mistakes in life. And, inshallah, maybe you will learn from them, or maybe you will have to make them a couple of times in order to get that. I made some of the same mistakes over and over again before I got it right. And I had to, bridges had to be burned in order for me to realize that, I had to go through really traumatic experiences, in order to get to where I am right now. And sometimes I'm grateful, because I think if I would have stayed on the same course and not have had those experiences, I would be dead. I mean, straight up. Whether it be by my hand or by my habits or by the people I surrounded myself with and situations that I was put in. Period. I mean, there's sometimes what makes me truly sad is when, you as you get older, you kind of think that, I've never been in combat or in a war. I lived in, the relatively safe areas compared to other parts of the world and stuff like that. But I think about a lot, like the fact that I'm still alive and there's other guys that I know, or the other girls, sisters, things like that, that aren't here right anymore. There's one time there was a girl, man, she was one of the most beautiful, nicest girls I've ever seen. And she we went to a couple parties. She was maybe in her early 20s, and then actually, you know what, I'm gonna say her name because may she rest in peace. And may Allah got her Subhanahu wa ta'ala grant her Jannah, ensure her mercy. Her name was Sarah Garza. This girl was just, in my opinion, a wonderful person, and she kind of hung out with the wrong crowd. She liked to party a lot and stuff, and she was a sweet girl, man. And she got in an accident, and she didn't survive. And one thing that really broke my heart about her situation was she ended up getting pinned in the wreckage and burned alive. She suffered tremendously in her last moments on this planet. And of all the things, like, in my opinion, I didn't know her too much personally, but she definitely, in my opinion, was a better person than I've ever been in my entire life. Period. And I'm still here. Well, I think everybody can say that they know really good people and, relatively innocent people, because we've all committed sins or we've all done something wrong right in our lives. But we know some really sweet, innocent people that have passed in this earth. And then you kind of look at yourself ashamed. Sometimes when you reflect, you're like, I'm still here. Like, what am I complaining about? Like, I've made all these mistakes and I'm still here, when there's somebody that did the right thing. Maybe even some people that are righteous that are no longer here. You know what I'm saying? It's freaking sad. There's a guy also that I went to a party with. No, I usually go party with that. So, unfortunately, when I first started practicing, I still fell victim to my naps a lot. And my biggest nap was, and I know we're supposed to conceal our sins, but I'm just going to tell, people to this truth so they could avoid and reflect on their own nafs and desires. I had a huge problem with alcoholism for most of my adult life. So that was the hardest naf to break. And if anybody has ever experienced that issue, it's not something that just overnight just happens. It's a process. And so I was still going out, and unfortunately I was going to bars and things like that. And there was this freaking guy, and I remember every single time I went there, it was a black dude, and I was supposed to be the only black dude at the bar. And honestly, I hate to say that this guy kind of came across as being an asshole. Pardon my French, but this guy was an asshole. He used to always come over and ask me to buy him a drink, and not even like formally care about like, getting to know me and stuff. He literally, I think the first time he came up to me, he was like, "Hey, buy me a drink." And, a lot of the people like that, I've met a lot of people like that in my life. They take advantage of the kindness of others and the charity of others. Because, like, I've always kind of be that person. I'm not saying I'm the best person when it comes to that, but I know what it's like to have not. I know what it's like to, have other people shut me out. So when people come to me and they ask for things, I think I'm more than willing to like help them, to make a good first impression. Because I know what it's like to, try to struggle and meet strangers and things like that. But sure enough, every single time I met him, and then the last time I think I saw him, it really got to me. I think I was in a bad mindset. I think I came back for the holidays, and I had visited my dad, and like me and my dad kind of, at least on my end, I had a falling out with him. He could probably say different, and I'm blessed to have a father. You only get one, regardless of how I feel about him. He wasn't the best dad, but he was there. And as a black man, I know that it's pretty rare. So, I'm glad that, I was blessed to have him in my life. But anyway, I came back, and this guy asked me, he was like, yada, 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 like, "Hey, can I buy me a drink?" And I really went off him. I was just like, no, you're not going to get a drink. And I think he overheard a conversation when he said back, actually, it was my sister's wedding. He knew that I came up to him. He was like, "How was the wedding?" I was like, "Oh, now you want to know about my personal life? You want to ask me about that? But this entire time, you never really broke up a conversation with me whatsoever. Now you're concerned that because I rejected you because you're trying to spin it, to get opened up so you can possibly get that connection again." It's like, no. I was like, all you do is come over here and you ask me to buy you a drink. You never talk to me for the rest of the day, and you just don't reciprocate any kind of interest in getting to know me. So it is what it is, right? And sure enough, he kind of just he took it real. He took it well. He kind of realized. I think he honestly realized that he was kind of a d-bag, and he could, and from my experience, there's a lot of people that do douchey things. They know they're a d-bag, and they don't really notice it until they get called out on it. Some people take it good, some people take it bad, right? So he went off. He did his own thing, right? He was like, whatever. So sure enough, I'm driving one day, and this is months after that. I see a picture, like when people die sometimes, like usually this relates to auto accidents, people will put like a memorial out on the where they died and stuff. And sure enough, there was a memorial of him. A picture of him with flowers around it. I already know what that means. And I didn't know the guy too well or anything like that, but I can imagine like what a waste of, especially I know he's a younger guy. He's definitely younger than me. A young black man. What did he amount to? This gift of life that he had. Probably taken away in some stupid accident. What's his legacy? I think we have this last couple of generations, maybe like the last two generations in particular, are the first generations of youth I think, in my personal opinion, there's a significant amount of people dying without any positive legacy whatsoever. There's people dying, their only legacy is working a 9-to-5 in order to make ends meet, just to be able to afford to pay for their vices, and things like that. There's pay for their vices. There's, their money goes to rent so they can have a roof over their head, and money so they go buy drugs, alcohol, and, have access to, sex and stuff. I mean, to be frankly honest, right? That's so many young people, that's going to be their legacy. Like, that's the world we live in. And so this so-called progressive society, the vast, so many young people are leaving this earth. Then it's not just from accidents and overdoses. This is also through suicide. This is also through homicide. This is also from all kinds of just crazy crap, you know. And some of them may not be the quote unquote best of us, but they're still their lives are still important, right? I mean, because there's like freaking, you know, terrible people that, you know, are still alive right now that have done really heinous crimes that are unrepentant and unapologetic about it, and they're still able to survive in this environment, you know. So yeah, like it's really sad to think about it like that. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but this is the reality of the world we live in. So especially young men in particular, because I've only spent this life as a young man, as a black man. I don't know anything else but that, and I'm unapologetically that. I'm not going to apologize for who I am to anyone ever. May I can apologize to my character or things that I've actually done, but for me, what I identify as and my actual, you know, existence, I'm never going to apologize for that whatsoever. So, especially young men, especially young black men, especially black men that are introspective and that are about bettering themselves and that don't fit the stereotype of what a black man is supposed to be. This is no diss to any other black man that is like that. But I'm just going to say this: you are alone. You are in this alone. Yes, there is a sense of togetherness and, you know, power to the people, all that crap, right? At the end of the day, you are freaking alone. And until you realize that and try your best to be your own best friend and better yourself and be your own best friend, your own lover, your own friend, you're alone. Oh, hey, what's up, Shirley? Hey, I saw what you did with Bishop earlier, and that was beautiful. Especially talking about, you know, one of your parents dying and things like that. That's real heavy. And I know you mentioned in particular that you know, you're not religious anymore, and you know, and everybody has their own journey through this life. I totally respect that. And I noticed that when you mentioned that you still long for the connection you had at your church, and that's real. That's real. Because I know for most of my life, when I was just kind of just out there and I didn't believe anything, I noticed that's something that I really long for. And unfortunately for me, what really sucked about that is I'm not saying any group of people is better than the other one whatsoever. Human beings at the end of the day have ulterior motives. But I got into really bad habits and really bad people because I was trying to find that connection again of like a sense of community. And I used to play music. And so in the music scene, there are good people in the music scene, regardless of what genre it is, but there's also a lot of bad people with really bad habits. There are really shady people that you can kind of get attached to. And I went like downhill, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a rocket ship hitting the ground, you know, with the, exposure to drugs and alcohol and things like that, and toxic relationships, whether it be toxic friendships or toxic like girlfriend, boyfriend things, you know what I'm saying? So that really touched me right there because you were honest enough to admit that, you know? So yeah. What was going on about was basically the sum of this video is basically being like, hey, especially, yeah, you gotta be careful what you surround yourself with. That's true, man. And the thing that sucks is I actually like people. Like, I'm not a misanthrope whatsoever. I love about being around other human beings, especially we have things in common. But even if we don't have things in common, like I meet people of different cultures and stuff, like I love that. I love asking people about their culture, their religion, you know, their race of people and their history and stuff like that. Like I love that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I hate being around people that just look exactly like me, think exactly like me. Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, you definitely accomplished for real. You know what I'm saying? I definitely see that you already got a couple hundred, I think, followers right now or subscribers. So I mean, I noticed your channel maybe about like last month, so that's a big jump. You know what I mean? So yeah, keep it going. Those one-on-one conversations, and maybe actually one of these days, I'll send you an email and we'll do a one-on-one. And basically, I think in this one-on-one, I just want to like get to know more about you on a personal level. You know, maybe what kind of ideas you have for your channel and for my channel, because you know, yeah, I definitely like your content for sure. But yeah, the sum of this whole video is basically like you have to be your own best friend. And I was like, hey, nobody cares about you. And that's not a bad thing the way you look at it. Like nobody cares about you, so you should care about yourself. because all too often, I think in my life, I've seen way too many people that put validation in how other people care about them. And then when they hit rock bottom and those people aren't there, they can't adjust to it. Mm-hmm. That would be awesome. Yeah, word. Yeah. The only percent of the time, 100% of the time, you're the only best friend. Yeah, I always look at it that way because I was like, I used to like a lot of prison documentaries and stuff, and I used to hear like, I follow like actually a couple of YouTube channels of guys that were in prison, and like those guys really motivate me because what I'm saying, alhamdulillah, thank God, like I've never been in prison, bro. I've never been in prison, never want to go in prison, whatever. But there's guys that have been talking about, they talk about solitary confinement and stuff like that. They're like, hey, I was in solitary confinement for months or even up to like a little bit, like a year or two. And they're like, hey, I was there alone by myself. Here's how I got my situation. I got fit. I started reading books. I bettered myself and did this and did that. And that's a big motivator for me because, what I'm saying? Like I'm blessed. I have a roof over my head. Obviously, I have a laptop. I got a cell phone. I got little things that some people don't even have, like the basics, right? And I got a steady paycheck. You know what I mean? With COVID and all this stuff shutting down, there's people that don't even have that. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. So I can't imagine being in prison and being denied of all the things that I have and take for granted and being able to still swallow my pride and being able to better myself. It takes a real strong person. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't do prison, bro. Especially for me, man. My mom actually was a nurse. My mom's a registered nurse. And she actually did work in prisons, bro. And I know, man, she told me all the time, man, I would get my ass eaten up. I would definitely be somebody's bitch. She was like straight up. She was like, you and your little brother would definitely be somebody's bitch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and also that the whole mentality of like, you have to pick a gang. Like, I feel bad, especially like, I'm saying like white people that go to prison. I feel bad for them more than anybody. And I never thought I would say this because I did my research into prison, bro. If you're a white guy in prison, you can be the most open-minded, non-racist guy ever. But if you're a white guy in prison, you got to become friends with the neo-Nazis. Like, you got to become a Nazi. You got to get a swastika tattoo and all that kinds of stuff. Because in the gang, exactly. In the gangs in prison are all racially based. They're not based upon political stuff. They're not based upon religious stuff necessarily or anything like that. They're based solely upon what race you are. So if you're black, you got to go in the black gang. If you're Hispanic, you go into the Hispanic gang. If you're white, you go into the white gang. And then if you're multiracial, if you're biracial or something like that, you literally have to choose a side. Like you have to claim one. And if you're half black, nobody's gonna. It's straight segregation. Like if you're half black, most likely you're going to go to the black people because the white guys ain't going to mess with you because you're mixed and stuff like that. So you have to freaking choose a side. It's what's sad. So yeah, there's gay gangs too. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And what the one thing I think is interesting about prison culture, right? Real talking about prison culture, at least in male prisons, right? The gayest dudes there be the hardest ones too. You know what I'm saying? And that's what is kind of funny about the image of like gay men, especially like gay black men, is they're super feminine and stuff like that. I noticed that like in the music, they really push that all the time, like Lil Nas X and all these guys. You know what I'm saying? They really put a Big Frida. They push all the like really feminine looking black gay dudes. But like in prison, man, those guys are hard. They're hitting the gym. You know what I'm saying? They ain't taking, they ain't taking no shit. You know what I'm saying? And you never see those guys really put on the forefront. You ever when you see like a black gay guy in any media, it's always the feminine ones. But like the prisons are full of like hard ass dudes. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get my channel flagged and why the reason that is. But it is what it is. I mean, especially look at Orange is the New Black, right? In Orange is the New Black, like they show the diversity of like the lesbian community, right? You have the Ruby Rose lesbians, you have the butch lesbians, you have the studs, you have the pretty girls, lipstick lesbians, all being represented. You know what I'm saying? But for whatever reason, when it's like gay men, it's always overwhelmingly, it's like all the gay men are like the super feminine ones. It's kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to keep this video short and sweet. Little Shirley, thank you so much for coming in. You kind of made my day. Yeah, because it was real late. You know what I'm saying? I slept in most of the day. I was kind of exhausted. I'm really stressed out from work because I'm teleworking and for the holidays and whatnot, and I'm still getting tasked with a bunch of last minute stuff. So yeah, thank you so much. I'll probably send you an email tomorrow about trying to figure out a schedule for figuring out a broadcast. Oh yeah, thank you so much for catching it. Yeah. And for the broadcast and whatever like that. And I'll try to think of a topic that I think we both can relate on, because I don't want to get too far-fetched of, talking about something that you have no idea talking about, and you're talking about something I have no idea about talking about. Actually, check this out. Here's a topic I think that we can both relate to. I just found out the other day. I was watching Russell Brand, his podcast, and Russell Brand is underrated, bro. That guy, if you want to see a transformation of a person, he went from like a freaking drug addicted D-bag, British comic to being like a philosophical intellectual, overnight. Like that guy's extremely talented. So he actually had an episode with this. I think it was a biologist. In this like the biologists that study bacteria and stuff. I think it's microbiologist or whatever like that. This microbiologist, was literally talking about that cells are conscious, and that the scientific community is kind of like trying to really not support his work, because he's basically saying, hey, if cells are conscious on a micro level, what does that make us? Are we part of a greater organism? Things like that. And it kind of tripped me out, man, because I actually kind of thought of something like that like a long time ago, like the earth being like a larger living organism, and then human beings being a part of that living organism as well. So I'll do my research. I'll try to find that video, and I'll send the link to you in the Gmail, and then we'll kind of use that as a backdrop. We can kind of screen share like clips of it and kind of like break it down, I guess, react to it. So that would be a dope conversation. So thank you so much. Hey, I'm not sure what time it is where you're at. I'm in Cali. It's like nighttime. It's about midnight. Thank you so much. You know what I'm saying? This means a lot to me. I'm trying to get this channel up and running. I know I need to make things more professional, get an intro, get banners and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just real busy and trying to formulate how I'm going to piece it out with my personal life. So, oh, hey, what's up? Yeah, everybody tells me about my smoke detector. I know, man. Everybody gives me my smoke detector. I'm just so cheap, man, because I got, I never get batteries for anything. I mean, it's 2020, for instance. I mean, nobody gets batteries for everything. Everything is just like you get a USB, you plug it to the wall, and it charges it. That's what they need to make with these smoke detectors. You know what I'm saying? if we freaking get the smoke detector like with a USB, man, I'd be so happy. But yeah, man, and it was crazy. Is honestly, it doesn't start doing that until later on in the day. I noticed that. Like I can get perfect sleep. It doesn't happen during the morning, but at night, whenever I start streaming for whatever reason, that's when it's really noticeable. Yeah, it's stupid. But thank you so much for stopping by, Nicer, too, as well. Yep, there we go again. I'm actually gonna probably make a beat. I'm gonna try to make a beat out of that. You know what I'm saying? I could probably make a track, going a freestyle using that as like a timer. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm going off the rails, but thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. You guys were actually my first subscribers. I'm gonna make you guys mods. I don't know how to do that. So everybody that's my subscriber now, I'm going to go through the list. If they comment and stuff like that, I'm going to make you guys mods because you guys earned it. Okay. So yeah, all he knows at night. Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, maybe speaking facts. You know what I'm saying? I know as ladies, y'all notice the small things, man. Like guys, we're so simple. We don't notice the little details and stuff like that, man. Like this has probably been needing a battery for like months. You know what I mean? And I just didn't notice it because I'm caught up listening to music or working out or, doing my work and stuff like that. But yeah, that's one thing I noticed about women, man. Y'all really smart. Y'all really intuitive, man. You know what I mean? So that's why I need, man. That's why real talk, man. That's why I'm ready to settle down, man, because I think I would peak. You know what I'm saying? I would have a shorty, you know what I'm saying, or a girlfriend being like, or my wife being like, hey, did you notice this? Did you notice that? You know what I'm saying? Did you notice this lint, here? You know what I'm saying? The little small things in life, you know what I mean? I think they matter a lot too. So thank you so much, guys. Yeah, y'all do notice everything. That's why we cannot get away with cheating. Men will never be able to do that. No matter how much money we have, no matter if we're ninjas and we're magicians and doing all these Jedi mind tricks, bro. Y'all know when we up to no good. Y'all know. So y'all have a great night. Thank you so much. If you next time that I'm live or whatever like that, if you guys see it, share, and get other people on board and stuff like that. I'm gonna do the same thing for y'all when y'all get popping. If you guys are on live, I'll share as well. I think we need a sense of community, especially with this lockdown. You know what I mean? I think it's a good time for us to connect with people. So thank you so much, guys. Deuces, take care.